Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Raw Perspective podcast.
All right, so in this segment, we're gonna check out some moves made by individuals this week. We're gonna determine if it was a raw move or a flawed move.
Fun part.
Was that?
That's the fun part.
All right, so first up, Joe Biden selects Kamala Harris as his running mate. What do you think?
It doesn't surprise me. I think it was a dumb move. Just because of her spotted history. And to me, it looks like with Joe Biden, I think he's already one of the worst of the Democratic Party. And then his vice president is also not at the top of her Democratic Party. And out of all the candidates they had for the president or vice president or Biden, like, they had a lot better choices to pick.
So would you say it was flawed?
My point of view, yes, flawed, but from a political standpoint, it was a good power move.
Yeah, I think it was a raw move too. The reason I say that was because what happened afterwards, right?
Yep.
So afterwards, before people weren't enthused about Biden at all.
No.
But, with her on the ticket, there was a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people from left and right applauded that move.
Yep.
She was probably the most qualified out of everybody else.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most qualified, but the best overall choice. Because A, she's black. Well, she's mixed black and Indian. B, she's a woman.
Yep.
And people like that.
Yeah.
But she's also received a lot of backlash because it was this is gonna sound so stupid, right? This one person said she's not an African American because she's Jamaican and Indian.
Okay.
Dude, that makes no sense at all. So being African American means you are of African descent.
Yeah.
Right? If you're Jamaican, you're of African descent because Jamaicans were the slaves of the English.
Yep.
So that makes no sense.
Yeah, it just proves that people don't really...
Yeah, they don't understand how it works.
Yeah. But I got my own thought process between all that too. Like, my thought process is you are an American. So I think if we can all accept that we are all Americans first, we're not African Americans or Irish Americans or German Americans. We're Americans that have that ancestry.
Yep.
And I think everybody's looking at it different. They're looking at my ancestry is African first, or my ancestry is Irish first, and then I'm an American. I think America has, I don't know if it's like an identity crisis, but
I don't think it's an identity crisis. I think it's just human nature to like to group things and group people together. Yep. You know what I mean? People feel a lot more comfortable when they're part of a group.
Yeah. Maybe it's just America we're still a baby country. We haven't been around that long.
Yeah. So
I think maybe it's just because we're still a country in its infancy that everybody still wants to say, I'm from this country or this country. So, but I think for Americans to be able to come together and say, I'm an American first, and I have African descendants, or I'm a descendant of Africa, or I'm a descendant of Ireland, or wherever the case may be. But to say I'm an American first, I think that would be a huge shift in our mentality, and it would bring everybody together, because now our identity would be here first and then there second versus there first and here second.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. personally, I think it should drop. Just say, hey, I'm an American.
Yeah.
And then if you want to keep talking, yeah, I'm of African descent.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just, I noticed that with minorities, you know, there's always like, oh, this person's Asian American. This person's African American. You know, just, but if somebody's like Irish descent or, you know, wherever else, they rarely say I'm Irish American. You know, they're just white. They're just an American. So I noticed that a lot, you know, just minorities that they tend to put those labels to.
Yep.
But it was actually the NAACP that picked that.
Yeah.
You know, say, hey, this is what blacks want to be referred to. Yeah. African Americans. Maybe it was a good thing, you know, instead of the N word that they use,
which is,
but you know, I don't agree with it. You know, it should just be, hey, I'm an American.
Yep. Yeah, I don't agree with it either, because I think that our mentality should be, we are Americans first. That's where our country is. That's where we reside. That's where pretty much most Americans were birthed at. So America is your country. And if you come into America and you become a citizen, then that is now your country. So now you are an American. Because I think being American is completely different from any other country, because we are so mixed with people from all around the world. So it's more of an idea than it is a place or a race or any other thing that you can think of. Our idea is what separates us from the rest of the world.
Yeah, we're the most diverse country in the world
by far.
Now everywhere else, or I wouldn't say segregated, but you know, if you're somebody from a different race or culture, they'll point you out very quick.
Really quick. Or even religion, depending on where you're at.